Good morning, students. Welcome to biology class. We are going to discuss about a new topic, reproduction. So, what actually reproduction? Reproduction means an organism produces new organism of its own kind. It is what we call reproduction. Then, why reproduction is very essential? Is it necessary part of our life? Let's see that. We say, for example, we'll eat the food because we have to survive, we'll take the food. We need energy. So we need energy to perform some work. So for that purpose, we will take food, and we will respire because we need oxygen. In order to work our body, we require oxygen. So we will respire. At the same time, waste substances produced in the body, it has to be eliminated. So we will go for excretion. So like that, as nutrition, respiration, excretion, like that, the reproduction, it is also a part of the organism. So if there is no reproduction at all, then it is not possible to continue their own species or their own generation. So a generation will come to an end. That's why an organism, you see that if you see any organism, in the beginning it will be very small, then it will be start gradually taking, it will be grown up, and ultimately after few years it will be die. Then if an organism die without continued generation, so how could we expect to continue? We can see many different kinds of organisms on the earth. So it is not possible. That's why. So reproduction, it is nothing but it's a process you can observe in all the kinds of organism just to continue their own generation. So this is actually why reproduction is very necessary. And here reproduction, it will be vary from lower organism to higher organism. There are different organisms are there, they have adapted different technique or the different mode of reproduction, so to continue their own generation. So in this topic we are going to discuss about what are the different ways by which organism they have adapted to undergo reproduction process. And we are going to discuss about the same thing in a case of lower organism, and finally come to plants, and then to animals. So here this is actually we have to study about reproduction in this topic. At the same time, here we are going to discuss about what are the diseases caused during reproduction in the case of human beings. So this is about the overview of the topic reproduction. Now let's see that. Let's define reproduction. It's a process of, it is the process of, it is the process of production of new organisms from existing organisms. Means a living organism can produce one more organism of their own kind, existing organism of their own kind, means you see that the cat can give birth to kittens only, dog give birth to puppies only, but they cannot give, dog cannot give birth to kittens, kittens cannot give birth to dogs. Means organisms of their own kind produces of the same kind. Okay, this is the meaning of reproduction. As I said that here there are different types of organisms are there, they have adapted different mode of reproduction. So here the reproduction is broadly classified into two types, and this includes asexual reproduction and sexual method of reproduction. So let's see that the types of reproduction. So this includes, one is asexual method of reproduction, asexual reproduction, and second one, sexual reproduction. As an asexual reproduction, another one is sexual reproduction. So let's explain one by one. So first we are going to discuss about asexual reproduction mode of. See, let's first one, asexual reproduction. What is actually asexual reproduction? Here, asexual method of reproduction, here it is adapted by lower organism and some plants. Here in asexual refers, here the letter A, this A stands for absence, means in this method of reproduction, organisms do not produce reproductive cells, means they do not there is no involvement of reproductive cells. These reproductive cells are also known as gametes. Okay, as there are no involvement of reproductive cells, hence this method of reproduction is called as asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction, in this method, this is a method of reproduction, a method of reproduction, in which organisms reproduce of their own kind, without involving gametes, or you can say that without involving reproductive cells. This kind of reproduction is called as asexual method. So second one, sexual method of reproduction. Sexual method of reproduction, or you can call directly sexual reproduction. The same, but the thing is that here organisms reproduce of their own kind, but involving by producing reproductive cells. So that is the main difference. Here also a method of reproduction, in which organisms reproduce of their own kind, by producing reproductive cells, reproductive cell. This is what we call sexual method of reproduction. So here there are few differences we can find in asexual and sexual method of reproduction. So let's see what is actually the difference between asexual and sexual. Let's see the difference between them. So here, before going to study about difference between asexual and sexual method, so let's briefly let me explain one concept, that is cell division. So this is also very important one. Here, this cell division, it is not involved in our concept, it is not in a part of the syllabus, but thing is that it is necessary to know that what is actually cell division, what are the different types of cell division. So here every organism in order to produce new organism, so there should be multiplication in the cell takes place. You see that, for example, while going somewhere else or while playing, so we may fall on the ground and we may have wound. After few days, the wound will be healed, and you see that there will be no wound at all, and in that place new cells are appeared. So then how could it possible? A small baby after few years to become a grown up young man, then how could it possible, right? So this is all because of the cell division. So then let's see explain what are the different types of cell division. Cell division is broadly classified into mitosis and another one meiosis. So mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis also known as mitotic cell division. Meiosis is also known as meiotic cell division. So here, if you take our body, so the cells present in our body is broadly classified into two types. Okay, one is body cells and another one reproductive cells. Body cells and reproductive cells, nothing but gametes. So here the mitotic division and meiotic division, they takes place in different parts. Say the whole body, the cells present in the body, they are nothing but body cells. Okay, so if you take any part of the body, the cells present in the body, they are called as body cells. So then the cells which are produced by the reproductive organ, they are called as reproductive cells. Then what actual difference between body cells and reproductive cells? So here if you take, we know that human body, they contains 46 chromosomes. So they contain 46 chromosomes in each and every cell. So they contain 46 chromosomes. Okay, means generally body cells, they have 46 chromosomes. Then even in the reproductive organs also, they have 46 chromosomes. During cell division, reproductive organs, they produce reproductive cells. These reproductive cells, they contain half of the parent cell. Means if the cells present in the reproductive organ, they have 46 chromosomes, then those reproductive cells in the reproductive organ, if they produce cells by cell division, they are called reproductive cell. These reproductive cells, they are nothing but gametes. They contain half of the parent chromosome, that is nothing but 23 chromosomes. See that there is a decrease in the number of chromosomes. Then if the body cells undergo cell division, means new cells obtained from the body cells, they contain same number of chromosomes. Okay, but here these reproductive cell, it has to combine with another reproductive cell to produce the same, to maintain the same constant number. And this division means, say that as they produce new cell, it will be 46 only. This type of reproduction can be seen in mitosis. Mitosis, it is a type of cell division in which a cell produces new cells having same number of chromosomes. As I said that if you have a wound, after few days the wound will be healed and new cells will be appeared. The new cells, they contain the same number of chromosomes from the previous existing cells. Okay, say for example here, this is the wound has been taken place. So the whole cell present in the hand, they contain 46 chromosomes. Then the wound will be start healing nothing but new cells are produced. So the neighboring cell, they start producing, they undergoes division. As undergoes division, they produces one more cell. Like that, as the repetition of cell division will be takes place, and the wound will be healed by replacing new cells. The new cells, they also contain 46 chromosomes. That kind of division is what we call mitosis. Mitosis, it's a kind of a cell division in which organism reproduce, or the cell undergoes division by having same number of chromosomes. This is what we call mitosis. So this mitosis can be seen, it will be occur throughout the body. Then coming to meiosis. Meiosis takes place only at the time of gamete formation or at the time of reproductive cell formation. So meiosis takes place in the reproductive organs. So here cells in the reproductive organs during the time of gamete formation, they undergoes meiosis. If they have meiosis, they produce half of the chromosome number. Say for example, consider this is 46 chromosome, means a cell present in a body. So we call this number as 2n. Say this is a diploid. Diploid, why we use the word diploid means here it contains two sets of chromosome 23, so it is 46. So it is called as diploid and it is mentioned as 2n. Okay, then if this cell undergoes multiplication or cell division, say it produces two cells. So it also contains 46 chromosomes, that is diploid number. This method of replication or division is called as mitotic cell division. Coming to meiosis. So here it contains 46 chromosomes, say okay, diploid. In this type of cell division, if it produces two cells, then it will become, the number will divide half, say 23 and 23, means the number has been reduced. So now it is called as haploid and it is designated as n. These are haploid cells and these are diploid cells. Means if a diploid cell undergoes cell division, it produces diploid only. But if a diploid cell undergoes meiotic cell division, it produces haploid cells. Then how it will become diploid? Then the two gametes fuse together. Means this 23 mixed with 23, again it will become 46. So this is the main difference. This is about the mitosis and the meiosis. So now let's see the difference between asexual and the sexual method of reproduction. So in the beginning we have said that asexual method of reproduction is nothing but here organisms reproduce of their own kind without involving gametes, but in case of sexual reproduction there is an involvement of gametes. So the first difference is no involvement of gametes. No involvement of gametes, but here it is an involvement of gametes are involved. So asexual reproduction, they undergoes mitotic cell division, means you can see mitosis, cell division. We can observe mitotic cell division in case of asexual reproduction, and in case of sexual method it is meiotic or meiosis cell division. Then in case of asexual reproduction, only one parent is enough to produce new organism. So there is no need of any help of other organism. Means a single organism produces of its own kind without help of another organism. So that the next difference is only one organism, one organism is enough to reproduce, But in case of sexual reproduction, two organisms are essential. Two organisms essential. Okay. So no involvement of gametes, there is involvement of the gametes, mitosis cell division, meiotic cell division, only one organism enough to reproduce, and there are two organisms are reproduced. You see that as there is no involvement of the gamete means there is no fertilization. Fertilization means you have studied in the 8th standard. Fertilization, it is the process of fusion of gametes, and ultimately they form zygote. Okay, so the formation of zygote is what we call fertilization process. So here, as there is no involvement of the gamete means there is no formation of zygote. There is no formation of zygote. As there is no formation of zygote means no fertilization process. No fertilization process. So look at here, as there is no involvement of gamete means there is no fusion of the gametes, so that is what there is no formation of zygote. If there is no formation of zygote means there is no fertilization process. So reverse of this. Here there is a formation of zygote formation will takes place. Zygote formation takes place. Then fertilization process occurs. Fertilization process occurs. Fertilization process occurs. So this is about a difference between asexual and sexual method of reproduction. Now after knowing the difference between sexual and asexual method of reproduction, now let's see what are the types of asexual method of reproduction. So let's discuss that one. Let's see types of asexual reproduction. Fission, budding, spore formation, regeneration, fragmentation, then last one, vegetative propagation. So here the different method of asexual reproduction is fission, budding, spore formation, regeneration, fragmentation and vegetative propagation. So let's see first one, fission. Here the word fission meaning is divide, dividing. Just divide into two or more, meaning means dividing anything, it is called as fission. Say nuclear fission, we say means nuclear undergoes division. So here in this method organisms undergoes division, produces two or more organisms. Such kind of reproduction is called as fission. So in this method organism undergoes division, to produce two or more organisms, then it is what we call fission. So here depending upon how many produce during fission. Based on that we have two types of fission. So let's see the types. So types of fission. It is one is binary fission. Then another one multiple fission. So there are two types of fission, binary and multiple fission. So let's explain first one, binary fission. Binary fission. So here the word binary refers to two. Bi refers to two. Fission meaning dividing. Means if an organism on dividing, if it produces only two organisms, then that method of fission is what we call binary fission. Once again, if the organism on dividing produces two organisms only, then the method of fission is called as binary fission. So in this method, an organism on dividing, produces two organisms only. Such method of reproduction is called as binary fission. Say, let's take example. In case of binary fission is amoeba, paramecium, and another one leishmania. So let's see one by one. Amoeba. So let's see binary fission in amoeba. So in this type of that is in binary fission amoeba, here organisms, it undergoes division, produces two organisms. You see that, and this is a unicellular organism containing a single nucleus, and it is surrounded by cytoplasm. So at the time of cell division, so the volume of the cytoplasm as well as the components of the nucleus, it will become double. Once again, the components of the nucleus and the volume of the cytoplasm, it will become double, and at the same time there will be a formation of groove takes place in the middle of the organism. Say here, these are the grooves. So these are the grooves you can see in the middle of the organism. This groove, as it will form, it will simultaneously form at the time of division of nucleus. So as after the volume and components of nucleus increases, then the nucleus, it will divide and to become two nuclei, and each nuclei, they go away from each other, and at the same time the groove formation takes place in the cell membrane of a unicellular organism. Then after separation of each nucleus, then each nucleus is surrounded by some amount of cytoplasm, and finally this groove, they start extending in the middle, and they develop plasma membrane, they reach each other, and ultimately they divide into two cells. The two new cells are obtained from a single organism, hence it is called as binary fission. The two new cells which are obtained from a single organism, these are called as daughter cells. So here these are called as daughter, means the two new cells obtained from a single organism, it is called as daughter cells. You see that it is called as daughter cells only, but not son cells. Can you guess why it is called daughter cells only? Think about it. So this is about a binary fission in case of amoeba. Then let's see next one, paramecium. So this is a paramecium. Again here also it undergoes a binary fission. So here also the organism divides and it produces two daughter cells. as just like that of amoeba, it produces 2 daughter cells. Hence it also shows binary fission. So here in binary fission we had to give more concentrate on binary fission in amoeba in the point of exam. So the more questions will be asked, and the binary fission in amoeba they will be asked in the part of practical part. So in the point of exam the amoeba is very important one, and give less importance to the paramecium. Okay. Then another one is leishmania. So this is a leishmania. It is a protozoan. So this leishmania, it also reproduces by binary fission. Here the organism divide in such a way that, so here the division will be takes place along the flagellum. So this is the flagellum. It is the locomotor structure of this protozoan. The division will be takes place along the flagellum, so that it divide into 2, and hence it undergoes binary fission. So this leishmania, as it is a protozoan, it causes a disease called Kala-Azar. It causes a disease called Kala-Azar, or it is also called leishmaniasis. Kala-Azar nothing but black fever. So why it is called Kala-Azar? Here the person, those who suffering from leishmaniasis or Kala-Azar, the skin they start becoming black. So hence the disease what we call Kala-Azar. So here these are the different examples or different example for binary fission. So here in the next class we are going to discuss about a second method of reproduction, that is what we call budding. We shall continue in the next class. Thank you.